I used to think I had a pretty good handle on what's real and what isn't. I'm not superstitious. I'm not into ghost stories. I've always believed that if you hear something in your house, there's a draft, or a mouse, or maybe the plumbing's acting up. Logical stuff. So when I bought this house, this old brick ranch just outside Pittsburgh, I didn't think twice about how cheap it was. I saw it as a fixer-upper with potential. A little rough around the edges, sure, but nothing I couldn't handle. The first month was normal. Quiet, peaceful. I spent my days repainting the walls, updating the hardware, replacing old light fixtures. The house felt like mine, until I started working on the closet in the primary bedroom. That closet always bugged me. It felt too shallow, barely enough space to hang a jacket. But what really got my attention was the sound. I was hammering in a new shelving unit when I hit the back wall and heard hollowness, like the thud you get when you knock on drywall that isn't backed by anything. I tested the wall in a few spots. The echo was the same every time. Curiosity got the better of me, so I grabbed a flashlight and gently pried at one of the seams with a flathead screwdriver. I expected maybe a dead space, old insulation or rotted studs. But when the panel popped loose, it revealed something I didn't expect, a hidden room. I just stood there staring. It wasn't big, maybe 6 by 8 feet, but it was clearly intentional. The walls were rough wood, no insulation, and the air smelled old, like dust and rot and something else I couldn't place. There was no door, just the panel I'd opened. And inside the room was a single chair in the corner, a thin, folded blanket, and what looked like an old wooden toy horse laying on its side. That was weird enough on its own, but what chilled me were the scratches. All over the back wall, gouged deep into the wood, were long, erratic scratch marks, like someone had taken a nail or a piece of metal and clawed at the wall again and again until the grooves were nearly half an inch deep. I didn't know what to make of it. It felt wrong. I snapped a couple photos on my phone, then closed the panel and tried to forget about it. But I couldn't. That night, I had trouble sleeping. My bedroom suddenly felt colder, and I kept looking toward the closet, expecting to hear something. I told myself I was being ridiculous, that it was just an old, sealed-up part of the house. I even laughed at myself as I drifted off. Then, around 2:30 a.m., I heard it. Breathing. At first, I thought it was mine, so I held my breath, and it kept going. Long, slow inhales and exhales. Just on the other side of the closet wall, I froze. Every hair on my body stood on end. I turned on the lamp and sat there, staring at the closet. The breathing stopped the second the light came on. I didn't sleep the rest of the night. The next morning, I checked the hidden room again. Nothing had changed. Everything was where I'd left it. The chair, the blanket, the toy horse. I told myself it had to be something logical. Maybe the HVAC was routing air through the walls in some weird way. Or maybe animals had gotten in somehow. I even called a local exterminator who checked the walls and attic. No rodents, no raccoons, no signs of anything. That night, it happened again. Breathing, same time, same pace, only this time. I swear I heard movement too, a slight shuffle, like a bare foot dragging lightly across the wooden floorboards. I didn't open the closet again that night. I just lay there, shaking, staring at the ceiling until dawn. Over the next few nights, it became a routine. The breathing would begin just after 2 a.m., like clockwork. Some nights it was subtle, almost peaceful. Other nights it was ragged, urgent, like someone gasping through tears. And always it stopped the second I turned on a light or made noise. I began recording audio at night. I figured if I could capture something, maybe I could prove I wasn't losing my mind. Most nights the recordings were just static and room noise. But one night, I got something. At 2:12 a.m., the breathing starts. Then, 30 seconds later, there's a faint creak, Then a soft, dragging sound, and then, clear as day, a voice. Software whispered. Fragile. Don't go. I stared at my phone for what felt like an hour. I played it again and again. Same voice. Same tone. I didn't sleep that night. I couldn't. That was the first night I had the dream. In the dream, I'm sitting in the chair inside the hidden room. I can't move. My legs are too heavy. The door is sealed behind me, and across from me is a child. Maybe 6 or 7 years old, pale skin, sunken eyes. No expression, just sitting, staring. He opens his mouth to speak, but no words come out. Instead, I hear the breathing, louder and louder, until it feels like it's coming from inside my own chest. Then I wake up, drenched in sweat, barely able to breathe. The dreams kept happening, almost nightly. It was like something wanted us to stay. So we stayed. That day we didn't separate, not even to go to the bathroom. We kept all the lights on and played music on a portable speaker just to keep the house from falling into that eerie silence again. But by nightfall, things started happening faster. It began with knocking. First on the front door, 3 slow, deliberate knocks. But when we opened it, there was no one there. Then the back door, same thing. Then the windows, tap, tap, tap. By 9 p.m., objects started moving again. The dining chair slid itself back from the table, scraping loudly across the floor. A picture frame flipped off the mantel and shattered on the hearth. At 10:17 p.m., the bookshelf tipped over completely. All the books scattered. A glass paperweight flew across the room and smashed into the wall next to Jamie's head. That was when we saw it again. Mark was the one who pointed. There! In the hallway. We turned and saw it, just for a second. A dark figure, tall, broad, moving from one room to the next. No facial features, just a shadow that moved like a person, but too fast, too silently. We screamed. We grabbed our bags and bolted for the car again, still dead. The engine didn't even turn over. The lights in the house flickered, then went out completely. We sat there in the car in total silence, surrounded by black trees and thick fog rolling in over the gravel driveway. I'll never forget the sound of our own breathing, all of us too afraid to go back in, but with nowhere else to go. Eventually, we made a plan. 1 flashlight, 1 lighter. We went back inside to wait out the night in the living room. That's when we heard the voice, not loud, not clear, but there, whispering, low and angry. It came from the hallway. We all froze. Then something slammed into the hallway wall. Not a knock, not a tap, a full body slam. The walls shook. Then it threw something. A chair from the guest room flew down the hallway and crashed into the kitchen door. The frame cracked. We didn't speak. We didn't breathe. Then the hallway lights flickered on. The figure was standing there, still, watching. I don't know who moved first, but we grabbed whatever we could, blankets, backpacks, and sprinted outside barefoot into the freezing night. We ran to the end of the gravel road and didn't stop until we found a bar of cell service. We called a tow, and the second that truck pulled up and jump-started the car, we were gone. We never went back for the rest of our stuff. Later that week, I looked up the property records. Turns out the cabin was owned by a man named Gerald Connor from 1972 until 2011. He lived there alone, reclusive, never married. Locals say he used to patrol the woods around the house, screaming at people to stay off his land. He died inside the cabin. Heart attack. Body wasn't found for 3 weeks. The weirdest part? The listing for the Airbnb disappeared a day after we left. Gone, like it was never there. I emailed the host. No response. The profile was deleted. I don't know what that thing was, but I know it didn't want us there. And it wasn't just haunting the cabin. It was living in it, loud, angry, territorial, and I don't think we were the first guests it tried to scare away.